Hey guys, I am gonna give you guys some updates what's happening right now. As of right now, the three things I want to go over is buy the dip. That one channel that we have. It did pretty well. Our biggest play was Rivian, and the fact that it went over 100%, that's when I sold it. Generally, I'm trying to get like 100% every month. Next big update is trying to understand the bull bursts and also the bear bursts. So pretty much the puts and calls for each one and how to use them and go over them, because they generally have the most gains, but they're definitely more short term. But as of right now, I'm just gonna study today. I'm just gonna go through all the past stuff that's been happening. Most of the time I've been MIA because mainly I just been trying to figure out the bull burst that was in. Let's see. Let's go to the Discord. So on the Discord, if you go to the AI bot one, so mainly I'm really trying to focus on this bull burst right here, also the bear burst. But after I already figured out the buy the dip, there's like a way to go through it. Even though a whole bunch has like popped up, doesn't mean like they're good buys right away. So, and I'll show you guys the reason why. But other than that, I mainly want to go over what the Boeing puts, because we got from the bear burst, and I mainly want to study like the bull burst too. That's it. This one's gonna be like a VOD, and I'm mainly going to just study the bull burst and just verify, like make sure like, hey, is this correct? Because sometimes the bull burst, it's actually just the inverse of it, because a lot of times when the bull burst happens, it's hitting a peak breaking point, and normally when it hits that point, it's like a heavy resistance, so it could go either or. And at that point, I'm trying to see like, hey, is this like a heavy resistance? Should we do puts instead of calls, even though it does indicate like calls right now, because that's the whole meaning of it. But the biggest thing was Tesla right here was on the list. It says do calls on it, but as you guys know, on like the trading floor, I did puts on it because it hit like a certain resistance. So mainly probably like into the next month. It's probably near end of November right now. Thanksgiving's going on, so that sort of skews the data, because we don't have Thursday. Friday most likely is gonna be like a half day. So the biggest start is going into December. And going into December, I'm gonna be focusing on like the bullish burst. I'll still put in input for the buy the dip, but that one's a lot easier to find and go into it, because the biggest thing, let's go to Rivian right now. So I'm just going to look into Rivian. It had that huge big uptrend. So mainly when it triggered on, I believe it was Friday or something. I wasn't 100% sure. Let's look at I just want to look at the Discord, see when I announced it. So we go to buy the dip. So huge announcement. I did like an announcement to like everyone. So it was on November 10th. So it was on this day when it had like that huge break. Mainly, and it happened really quick. It looked like more of a swing trade than a day trade. But mainly on the buy the dip, the main thing I'm really looking for it's trying to make it simple. I'm really just gonna wait until this orange line crosses this black line right here. I can make a circle on it. Let's see. It's like right there. So that was like my main focus. That's what I was looking for. Generally, once I see that, also I have to verify on the weekly, see how the weekly is doing too. So on the weekly right here, it was on the 10th, on the Monday. So on this point on the week, it pretty much said like, hey, I'm gonna have a resistance, because generally once this orange line crosses black line, it creates a heavy resistance. So it created a resistance for that week. So it's gonna have an all-time high for that week, and it's probably gonna struggle. But if it continues upward, then it'll have like a huge uptrend. But knowing that it'll just go up for just that week, which was beginning of this week, so it's mainly like a swing trade. But mainly across, I was waiting till it breaks above like the 1670, and but the thing is, I think I called it earlier, because part of me saw it a little bit earlier on this point. I'm gonna reset it. So yeah, so you can sort of see it crossing already right here. So that's why I made it the 1563 as like my breaking point, because they're sort of touching at that point. And the biggest thing was we had heavy support right here, because normally once this green crosses this black line, we have like a heavy support right there. And luckily it's after earnings, so that sort of helps a lot. Purple line is my support, so, and we have like all these other lines that occur too. If we press over to the next day, had that little bounce. So the fact that it had that little bounce touching that black line indicates like, hey, this 1536 is like a nice heavy resistance. So then on that Monday, it triggered. So I made like an alert right here at that point. So right when it crossed that line, that's when I sort of bought in, then made the announcement. It was pretty early. It was like around 9 o'clock. So if we go into the minutes, it's like 9 o'clock. So like at this price, I was sort of announcing it. I got a little bit early, like around in the 15 price range. But at that point, it's like, hey, it's going to hit what, 1647. So it did. Then like 1712 was supposed to be the next target. I just didn't expect it to go up that high that fast. So then as time went, it went all the way up to 1760. So at that point, it's like, okay, it's right over 100%. It was actually 150%. And this was like a month contract within the same month. So I was like, what did I say? It was like 3 weeks to 4 week hold. So I did a 3 week contract, and it just blew up right then and there. I just like held one contract. Because generally I like to just hold one contract just to see how it performs like the rest of the time. Also, it helps to post on the profits. Generally, when I'm like in the notion of trying selling, generally I'm trying to sell as much as I can. Let's see. Next is what? But yeah, but as of right now, the buy the dip, I'm probably gonna go through like everything else. Yeah, I'm probably gonna do the bull burst next, because the bull burst, it's like within the same week, and those generally are faster. And the thing is, those take about 2 weeks to form in order to have like a major uptrend. But the biggest thing I think everyone's really worried is like, hey, it's been super shaky in the market. I think the biggest thing is because NVIDIA had like earnings. Everyone's worried about that. The other thing is AI bubble. Everyone's scared about that. So the biggest thing I'm probably going to look at is triple Q. Obviously, triple Q is just all like the tech industry all in one. So right now, ideally, so we have like the first support that occurred, which is right here. Right when that green crossed that black line, that's when the support occurs. So going into like next week, I do expect like a heavy bounce going into like Thanksgiving. So yeah, so right here, that's the heavy support, the green cross that black line, that's our indicates of support. If we go to the weekly said it had a heavy resistance right here. I'll make that red for now. So in the week, in the long-term basis, it says like, hey, NVIDIA has like a heavy resistance at, or triple Q has like a heavy resistance at 624. So we'll see it'll continue on this huge uptrend. But mainly, I'm trying to see if this green line crosses black line. So that's when we'll see major downtrends. If we go into like the super long term, like in the months, right now it's saying it's hitting its like resistance in the month right now of November. That's it. No support. The other support it had is all the way down in 400, which is still like a hefty drop. But other than that, was it Michael Burr, I believe? Yeah, Michael Burry, the big short guy. He did 2 heavy puts, which was NVIDIA and Palantir. Looking at NVIDIA right now, we're looking at like a super long term right now. My main focus, like on the weekly, is like, hey, this green line crosses black line. If it did, normally it touches this red line. So as we can see, it already happened like right here. So the green cross right here, it touched like the 20-day moving average on the month chart. But that's super long term. I can't wait that long, really. No one has really the patience. I think next week, NVIDIA will be a deciding factor to see if it will have like a heavy downtrend, because it's sort of close getting to this black line, but there are sellers that are not very much sellers. So a lot of people are holding on NVIDIA. So there's that NVIDIA gain that's just like, yeah, we're holding on to it. Also earnings, the CEO said like, hey, there's still more buying power. So but as of right now, if we look on the daily chart, it is hitting a little dip right here. Once this black line converts up, so this black line is considered as like trending, even though there's sellers on the uprise, but the trend's not there yet though. But once it starts curving up, we probably see like a heavy downtrend NVIDIA, just very short term, probably like for the 2-week mark. But we need to verify it through the 4 hours. So in order to like verify things, we have to go down to a smaller time zone, which is like the 4 hour, 2 hour, 3 hour, or the 1 hour. Because what it does is it gives us more data points. More data points equals more accuracy. As of right now, on the 4 hour, it says, hey, I'm having like a pretty good resistance like support right here at the 178.20 right here, where that orange line is. Yeah, the lowest point was 178.10. So 178.10. Cool. It's mainly just the daily I'm really focusing on. But if that's a support, then I'll look at the 2 hour. The 2 hour right here saying like, hey, I also have a support right here. It's generally right when the screen crosses dotted line right here. That does indicate a heavy downtrend though. So I am seeing that if I think it was right here, right? About this point, then we had that dip right here. So the fact that it broke the 2-hour support, I guess it's making another one right here, right? Let's look into this linear line. So Thursday 20th. So yeah. So this is right when the 2-hour support happened and create a 4-hour support. So I'm gonna look at the 1 hour. The 1 hour said like, hey, I had like a good support right here too. So at that moment, once NVIDIA breaks below this purple line and this orange line, then I'll probably do puts for like the week. So like 176 is for like the price. See if it crosses below that, and once it does, so yeah, we'll delete all the inactive. So let's make an alert around NVIDIA. Once it crosses, cool, easy. Next, PLTR. But if it was me, PLTR is definitely my go-to long-term compared to NVIDIA. So PLTR, I already entered it. Right here, it already broke its support. It broke its daily mean support, which was 167 right here. If we look in the week, sellers started peaking up a bit. Nothing too crazy, but the bigger picture is the month. So in the month chart, this green crossed this black line, so indicating that ideally Palantir is supposed to fall all the way down to like 107. That's like losing about like 1/3 of its value. And this is in the long term. So it could either happen within probably like, I would say 6 months. So 6 months is like the big thing. So yeah, if I had to weigh between the two, PLTR is be definitely my best bet for long-term puts. But yeah, but the market is going pretty crazy. It's pretty unpredictable because even though the market's been like doing really well, like the people I've been talking to, like in the real world, it doesn't seem like everyone's feeling the same. Other than that, that's it for like the big dips. So other than that, I'm pretty much gonna go over how to read the what was it? Pretty much how to read the bull burst, because we're just gonna be day trading. Let's keep it simple. So I'm pretty much gonna go to Discord and just gonna go through the entire list. So go through like the AI bot, and I haven't really been posting, sadly. I've just been trying to study and verify things. So like let's use Tesla as an example. So I did Tesla puts last week. It was a bit of it got up to like 8% on like opening, but I ended up just holding it. So it triggered on this uptrend right here. So let's get rid of all these drawings. So the main thing, once I see a trigger that happened on Tesla, and it's in the bull burst section. So if we go to the lists right here, we can sort of see at right here, it says Tesla, and the return was like 344. So right when that happened, it happened on the 20th of November. So the fact that it happened on the 20th of November, most likely it triggered on this big spike up right here. So most likely that's when it triggered. So that's the triggering point. So after the triggering point, generally I don't buy in right away. We have to look for a couple things. The first thing I have to look for is, hey, is there support underneath it, like before the trigger, or is it going to form one like a little bit later? If it doesn't form one, then I'm probably gonna do puts onto it. We can verify on the past lists, but as of right now, let's go look at. Oh, lost my dude. Let's look at Tesla and why I did Tesla puts. So generally, right when it triggered, I generally look at the daily. Daily right here. First thing I do is find the daily resistance. So daily resistance is right when this orange line crosses this dotted line right here, because that was a breaking point like in the previous week, like a couple weeks. Generally for the daily, when it breaks above, that color is normally green. Next, we had a support a while ago. So it created a support right here, which is generally yellow. So a lot going on. And that's only in the daily. And we had a secondary resistance right here. And I was able to find this resistance based on right when this purple line crosses this black line and it's above this red line. So that's generally indicates like, hey, I have a resistance. So on the trigger point, knowing that, hey, so far it didn't go above like the daily resistance at all. It didn't maintain this uptrend, so it's creating a resistance first near it. It did create a support closer to the trigger point, but the support didn't hold. We need to verify things on the 4 hour. So on the 4 hour, we have a good support right here on right near the yellow, and that's considered as orange. I found that based on right when this green crosses this black line, that indicates a support has happened. Next, I want to see if there was any resistance, and the other resistance was right here. Cool. So we have more resistance than supports right now, but this generally gives me like a general idea. The main thing I want to look at, because these are mainly just trades I hold for the week, I will go into the 2 hour. And the 2 hour, first thing I want to see is right on the triggering point on this yellow line, we can sort of see there's a resistance. I know it's a resistance because right when this purple line crosses this black line and it's above the red line, that indicates a resistance. I call this resistance KOV, and this indicator, I call it OG. So that's all you need to know. So pretty much I call this guy OG, that creates resistance and support. And we have a secondary confirmation on those, which I call the KOV. So on the bottom of this chart, I call this KOV. On these indicators, I call it OG. The name has no significance of the indicators. That's why I just named them. They're just names. So as of right now, I have a resistance because right when this, like I said, right when this crosses above the red and this black line right here, it creates a resistance. So right when it creates the resistance, generally if the resistance is closest to the trigger point, generally I'll do a put. So at that moment, it's saying, hey, I have a heavy resistance. It does have a 2-hour support. It had an old one right here, but it already broke above it and it's just being messy. But I'm gonna get rid of this line. Because mainly my main focus is I sort of want to see what happens below these lines right here. I wonder if there's a 4-hour support, and which was right here, and it broke the 4-hour support a long time ago, so it doesn't really help me. And the 4-hour KOV, I don't know why I'm. So the 4-hour KOV, most of the time, that's an early trigger, knowing that, hey, I should do puts. So generally right when this cross right here, that's when like, hey, I should probably look at the 1 hour or 2 hour to verify if it's gonna have this maintained downtrend. Next we have a 1 hour resistance. So I have a 2 hour resistance and 1 hour resistance. Those are my two main key time zones that I look for in the supports and resistance. And I have the daily and the 4-hour to support its case. So next I would just do a purple line. So the black line is the 2-hour resistance. The purple line, which I just made, is the other resistance. So even though that triggered on Tesla and I see two heavy resistance, that's why I want to do puts. Unless like we weigh out throughout the day, see if it breaks above it. But the fact that it had a resistance from the 4-hour, daily, and this this other daily and 4-hour support, they really don't hold up very well. And the reason why, I don't know, it's just the reason why is mainly because of the 4-hour. Because the 4-hour, if I reset the chart, like this purple line is super low. Once it's below this, the black line is underneath this red line, that indicates like a heavy downtrend. You know when it becomes like stagnated, but generally once it goes below everything, that's when it has like a pretty heavy dip. Once this purple line's above everything, that's generally when it has like generally a good uptrend. So like right here, see the purple is above like the red, the middle line, and this blue line. That indicates, hey, I have a huge uptrend. This blue line right here sort of indicates the volume, how many people are holding on to it, and the fact that right when this purple line's above it, that indicates like, hey, a lot of people are buying in. There's not a lot of people holding on to it, so we'll have an explosive growth, which it did happen. And this red line sort of indicates like once it either have a support or it's gonna break down dramatically. That's it. What else? But yeah, right now I'm just gonna focus on the bull burst right now, because it it gives you like a hefty gain. Like VMC, it was like a 400% return gain. So generally with this AI machine, it doesn't, even though it triggers like, hey, buy in, that's not what it actually means. It mainly means like, hey, something happened here, so just look at it and verify it yourself to know once it's about to break up, like has like a huge uptrend. But as of right now, we're just holding on to Tesla into next week. That's the only play right now. Generally, the main focus is once we have a better verification on like the bull runs and like the bull bursts and like the bear bursts, then everything will be a lot easier. I just want to have like a better verification to know like when to play it, and then once we have like more confidence knowing like what's gonna happen, obviously more money can be like be pulled into it too. Let's see. I think okay, so that's pretty much it. That's just like a short demo. My next video is pretty much me. It's gonna be a boring video. Next video is just pretty much me going to go through the entire bull burst list, maybe a little bit of the watch list, and to verify when to buy in. That's pretty much it. That's pretty much what I'm gonna do the entire day today. Is go down the entire list of like the bull bursts, verify what setup has like a huge uptrend or which setup has like a huge downtrend. Because I said the bull burst could go either way. It could go have a huge uptrend or a big downtrend. So like if we look at, I think it was Microsoft. So Microsoft triggered on the bull burst on Friday. So if we go to Microsoft. So even though it was bull burst, it said like, hey, buy into it, blah blah blah. It's about to blow up. It doesn't mean that. Part of me wanted to do Microsoft puts because that would have been like a crazy return also. So it happened, it triggered on what, Friday? So Friday, that's when it triggered. So to verify, like, hey, is it really gonna maintain its uptrend? The fact that I'm on the daily right now and it's below this purple line, which is the trauma line, shows that, hey, I'm probably gonna have like a huge downtrend. That's, well, not a huge downtrend. It says like I'm in like the downward state. That's all it means. So first off the bat, not a good start. Next is find the resistance onto it. So the fact that right here you sort of see like that purple line creep up above this red line, that sort of indicates a resistance. Generally when the bull burst triggers, I generally wait till the next day. I don't buy into it right away unless it's like a clear visual, but as of right now, it's not much of a clear visual. Like, it's just like the idea. So as of right now, it says, hey, I'm about to blow up. It creates a miniature blue resistance because right when this purple across that red, that sort of indicates like a downward resistance. It'd be nicer if it crosses this black line, because then it'll be like a very hard resistance, like this one right here. So if you look at this guy right here, it had its old resistance right here, and the fact that when it broke, it has this huge uptrend. But then again, it had earnings, so that's where it probably skewed a whole bunch of stuff. But as of right now, we're just focusing on this time in that moment. So next, I go into the 4 hour to verify it. The fact that it's below this purple line indicating like, hey, I'm still like a downward state. The resistance on this 4 hours, right when this purple line crosses this red line and this blue line, that indicates a heavy resistance. So the fact that it triggered and it's below this 4 hour resistance right here, that's a clear, huge indication like, hey, probably not gonna have like a nice uptrend. We can do a playback, which I like about TradingView. You can replay stuff in that moment. So as of right now, I can sort of see why Microsoft triggered, because a couple things happen. So right when this green crosses this black line, that indicates like, hey, I have a nice 4 hour support right here. And right here on this red point, it's saying like, hey, I also have like a really nice uptrend going on if the price stays above it. So even though at this point, right when it breaks above the 4 hour KOV resistance, doesn't verify anything. Also, that wasn't the 10th either. That was like the 12th. So when did it trigger? It said Friday, so 11/17. That was like, so this is, so it hasn't even triggered yet. This is the 14th. Yeah, this Friday. So it triggered on this Friday. So the fact that it triggered 4 hour, it didn't trigger, it triggered this 4 hour support, which to me, I'm like, hey, it triggered this 4 hour support. It's probably a huge uptrend. But, and looking at this next candle right here, the fact that it's going above like this purple trend line, I'll be like, oh, okay, I probably have like calls, right? But like I said, always wait till the next day, or aka Monday. But the biggest thing I'm be wanting to look at is the 2 hour, because we're swing trading. Like we're either holding it for the week or it's gonna be like a swing trade, or it's 2 or 3 hold. I have notes. I have to like handwrite all my notes to verify like, hey, how much of a hold, how long do we need to hold this? But other than that, I go to the 2 hour. 2 hours says like, hey, I have like a nice 2 hour support right here. Cool. It's not great looking. But the fact that it broke the 2 hour support right here. Next is it created a 2 hour resistance. So this is sort of the same thing that happened to Boeing. I was like, hey, it triggered a 2 hour resistance. That's sort of when I want to buy into it. And then we had like that 500% return on it. But yeah. So right now it created like a black 2 hour resistance because this purple line crosses red. And this only gave us like a 2 hour support. So knowing that, hey, it has 3 resistance and 2 supports right now. And the KOV resistance is probably like the heaviest resistance. Next, to verify, we look in the 1 hour timeline. So this timeline says like, hey, I have another 1 hour resistance. Based on, see how this is above the red. And so by knowing this is how you can maximize your profit, knowing the resistance, and you just buy near the resistance. You don't have to average down as much. So knowing like, hey, there's 2 resistance, it did make a slight support almost like right here. Right when this purple touches that blue, that sort of indicates like a support, but like nothing has happened yet. But other than that, that's it. And so after like looking at this, I'm like, okay, well, there's 3 or 4 heavy resistance on Microsoft. Microsoft bull burst triggered, indicating like, hey, look at me right now, which happened on this time. I wait 1 day to verify it, And for Microsoft to have like an uptrend, so right now we're looking at the downtrend motion, but in like a different world, if this was an uptrend, the price would have to stay above 509.50. Then also I needed this orange line to be below this dotted line and this black line when it's above this blue line, and that's when I'll know it'll have like that heavy uptrend. But other than that, I sort of wish I did puts on this, but I think I did puts on something else. Oh, actually, I did calls instead for like Walmart. And I played it through. I didn't play it through earnings though. I had to buy on like the day of earnings because it had like this odd drop. But yeah, as of right now, this is just for the VOD. The next VOD will pretty much be me going through like the bull burst list pretty much, and we're just gonna have like a rundown on that, and that'll be like the main focus for December. So 2 main focus for December is the buy the dip, because the buy dip, a couple like popped up a lot. So you had SYY that popped up. The main thing I was looking for is like, hey, did this cross? Yep. Is it above that price though? No, it's not. So I'll just like make a mark on that. Oh, I'm on the simulation right now. So it crossed right here. So I'm pretty much gonna wait until SYY breaks above this price. Easy. Once it breaks above this price, oh, I'm looking at the hour. Never mind. My bad. I'm supposed to look at the daily. So right when this cross, it has to break above the all-time. It's high right here. Next was AZO was on the buy the dip list. Same concept. I sort of want the sellers to be a lot lower because this one, the buy the dip is supposed to be like a more, I don't want to say guarantee. I mean, it should be like a higher probability of like a higher win rate. That's it. And it's like a more safer bet, which what we're going for. Next BDX sellers not enough. CLBT, that wasn't enough. It did touch a resistance right here, but it didn't break above it, so we can just add like an alert on it. CTVA, also the returns are not like super crazy, they're just like in the 100, but still. So CTVA, that triggered like on Thursday, but it needs to stay above this price. So yeah, that's it. I'm probably gonna stop here on the recording, and I'm gonna make another recording for the bull burst list. That's pretty much it. Today will be me studying the entire day on the bull burst list. All right. Well, thanks for hearing me out. See you guys in the next video. Peace.